Welcome back to the 1090 podcast. We're in Australia with Craig Lithgow. Craig, we've been friends for how long? I can't even say your name properly still. My bad, dude.
Yeah, that's right. Different country.
Yeah, I just say it with an accent. It's not like, right? Like, I'm not trying to say it wrong.
Yeah.
You say Mason weird.
Do I?
No, you don't. But
I don't reckon I
kind
do.
of blue. Blue?
Yeah,
Blue.
that's the Aussie. That's the
Yeah,
blank
I love
cutting
it,
in.
man. Craig, I don't even know where to start, honestly. I think when my family died in that car crash, obviously loneliness, you feel alone. And then just the thought of, I have no idea what to do. I have no idea what to do. Like, what's the measuring stick? What's the route? What's the path? Because there's so many emotions in my own head and body. I don't know which path. Do I go down the angry path, or let's be nice to people path, or let's kill ourselves path, or let's live life to the fullest path? It's all just a cluster of all these things. Anyway, and then you messaged me that one day and you tell me your story of losing what you've lost. And it was just like that feeling of loneliness was frozen for a minute. It was just, and a guy across the world. And it wasn't just you messaged me. It was like the message you sent me was heartfelt, genuine. It struck me to the core, and I planned a trip to Australia. And
not too long after.
And I don't know what the proper term to use is, but we're very good friends now.
Yeah.
Is probably an understatement. Staying at your house for almost a week, 4 or 5 days. I feel like we just wake up 6 a.m. and it's just a deep dive into these beautiful conversations. And it's beautiful. And it's just hard to get that. I think a lot of the people from my culture, society, my family's not dead to them. Like, they're just in another room in heaven, and you'll see them and everything's fine. And so it's just, okay. And even if that's true, like, this life is going to be hard until I die. Like, I might have 40 or 50 years left of this shit. So, like, let's do something that can help me here. Like, don't just try to take my pain away and say it's okay. And you're the type of person that, honestly, I think a lot of the beliefs you have are similar to the beliefs that I don't really like. But the willingness that you have to listen to me and feel my pain and connect to it and let me feel heard, that's the connection with me. And I do think I'm trying to learn a lot from you, and because that happened in 1996 for you. So you have 29 years of experience walking down this road. And I'm dealing with a lot of anger and a lot of shock still. And so our conversations are beyond helpful. Okay. So what we're going to do now, Craig, is I'm going to read this. This is kind of going to summarize your story. And then we'll go from there. And I'll start talking less and listening more.
Talk as much as you want.
Those are some of the thoughts I've had. Just being at your house and getting ready for this conversation. So, okay. Coming back from a month away up at the Murray River, Randell was driving, who was your partner. I told her to overtake some slower cars doing around 80 kilometers. She sped up and went around them. We hit some gravel and Randell lost control of the car. It slid into a culvert sideways, doing probably 100 to 110 kilometers, which then flipped the car and rolled it through a farm fence and into a paddock, where it came to a rest on its roof. I was conscious throughout the roll. I was trapped in my seatbelt upside down. The roof had been crushed nearly down to the top of the doors. The car had caught fire. I could hear and feel it. What then happened in that car? What then happened in the car? Me stuck in that belt was insane. I took a massive. Oh man,
It's all good, dude.
where'd it go? I had to change pages.
All good.
Okay, maybe we'll stop there.
Find it. Keep going.
I can't find it, man.
I told you to bring the pamphlet.
Oh, I know, dude.
Technology. Mason.
I'm sorry, Craig. I don't know. I'm just missing that page, man. So you're with Randall, her 2 kids, Shondell and Aaron. You tell her to overpass, and car rolls over. You're upside down. You get out. Car catches on fire.
Car was on fire when I was in there, and then I eventually got out. Yeah.
You listened to that episode I did with Burke?
Yeah. Yeah. I listened to it. It's that day when you guys were at the concert.
Yeah, I thought of you when he was telling me that story. And we were talking about it last night, and it was hard for me to talk about that episode with you because it was obviously different for your family. And I don't know how you, and then everyone died. You didn't have a blue. Do you want to take us back to that moment? And then I want to talk about the night you try to take your own life as well. So can you take us from that car accident to that dark night of the soul of you trying to take your own life? And then I have some questions from there.
Yeah, so I was still trapped in that car, upside down, trapped in the belt. I'd stopped. I was like panicking at the start, like it was just trying to get out. And then realised that, I could hear the crackling of the fire and smell it and, see what was going on just. And then it was that thing of, I tried the belt and I kept trying that button on the belt because it was what you just press it in, a different type of seatbelt that they got now, but because I'm old, Mason. And so I wasn't able to, it wouldn't let go because of the weight, because it's upside down, and you're all, crumpled up and whatever. And so it wouldn't let us go. So I couldn't get out. So then it got to that point of doing that, which we've talked about before, is that I just remember this deep breath and then just thinking, I'm fucking going,
And then
there's just this, everything sort of goes, and like, it's just this, everything changes like this. I get it now, but I didn't then, like I can understand what's happening here now, what's happened in that car. And I totally understand everything that happened and why. What's going on right now is why, but so that, when that feeling happened of just like, it's almost like you've given up. So you've given up and breathed out. And it's almost like to me now, if I feel it now, it's you're with them. you know?
Yeah.
That's how it feels. That's just how it feels to me. It's almost like if you give up, you know, you sort of move into this other space. And how I'm talking about this other space, I mean, you do enough work and you can experience that. And that's what I'm talking about now, you know, like you can actually bring yourself into these other spaces. So it was like that. And then Shondell screamed 3 times. And then it was just like that thing, just straight away, that thing of, you know, I've got to save someone. There's this, that snapped everything out, and it just went, I've got to get out and I've got to do something. I don't even know what I was doing, but I had to get out, you know, because I heard her scream.
You don't think if she doesn't scream, you don't think you live, right? Like you think you're going away in that car. Was it her
That,
scream that kind of snapped you out of
yeah,
going towards that light?
that, that's initiated that, yeah. From when I go back to that now, that it all makes total sense. When I look at her, when her photos today, it makes sense. What comes back, you know?
Yeah.
And so somehow, and I still don't know, just somehow, I came out the belt somehow. It took it took a while to get out. It took me a while because there was hardly any room. And
were you broken bones, or you're pretty healthy, or
when
you're just in so much
I
adrenaline and shock?
yeah, and then I've got out because it was once I got out, I realised that there was only a gap at my door, so the rest of the roof was down on all the other, you know.
Yeah.
And there was only just this. I just got out. I still don't know. That's one thing I think of. If I think of it now, I still have no clue how I got out. What I got out. I just don't. And even when I went back to the car, which we've spoken about, when I went back to the car after all this, and that's another story. But looking at that, you know, it was like, yeah, how did I even get out of there? But yeah, so then I got out. I couldn't get back in. There was nothing. I couldn't do anything. By that time, the fire was all over the car because it was a full tank of gas, and in the roll, I remember seeing the wreck, and the boot was like, leave it up. It'd leave it up, and if that's moved, the old car's had a rubber filler it down onto the tank, and that's probably wrenched that off in the roll, I would imagine, and that's how this whole tank of fuel's just dumped out, because all of a sudden it's just caught on. You know, it obviously started in the front in the motor, because that's what I was hearing, and then it's gone up. And so I've always thought, and I told it in the last podcast, I'd always thought that someone, because I'd been told there was a woman that was a witness to it, just something that I heard through my parents and the police with them, not me. And so I always thought to myself that I got someone pulled me away from the car. I've just always had this fear, and I just linked that with this woman. I've just always told that and felt that was the story, because that's, everything's sketchy as when you're in that sort of situation, you know, after it all. And but then I've just always thought that. And then when I met, no, that's right. So yeah, so that had gone on for a few years where I just always imagined that. And then at some stage when I was feeling better about things, then I thought to myself that I want to actually go and find this lady.
Like I wanted to find Bert.
Same.
It
Just
sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Like when I'm hearing you say it, like, what are you doing? But yeah.
So it's that same. That was that.
Why do you want to? Yeah, why do you want to do it? Because
the same reason that you wanted to meet him now, obviously not early on, but now, and how important that was to you.
I just thought, I was so scared he was gonna tell me your story. Like if he was gonna say like, yeah, the car caught on fire in Riggins and Frankie, I like I And that, like, it's so hard to tell you that. It's so
Yeah,
hard to have this conversation
I
because,
know.
like, and maybe, oh man, maybe, I mean, they're all dead. So maybe, I don't know. I just feel like it matters so much, though,
Yeah.
all the details of it. And I'm so sorry, man. I don't know if that's what Burke told me. I think he even said it on the episode. He's like, yeah, like if they did, I wouldn't be here either, Mason. Like
Mm,
if I heard anyone else screaming and they didn't
mm,
make it. And so for you to go, it's just, and so when he told me like no, like they all died instantly, Blue survived. Like I
mm.
needed that, man, from him,
Yeah,
not from a family member, because I just couldn't believe it. Like my
yeah.
mind wouldn't let me. Like no, they're just lying, Mason. Like everyone's lying to you to make you feel better. Like, but I knew this guy saw everything.
Mm.
And I just I'm sorry, man. And so what was the conversation like when you went back and talked with this lady?
So, and I don't want you to, you don't have to be sorry for us,
I
mate,
don't I don't
because
know.
it's okay. It's
It's
okay, mate.
not okay
No, it
though.
is
It's
okay.
not.
Dude, it is okay. It's okay. It's not okay, and it's okay with me, and you're still going through that hard period, Mason. Like I've been where you are
Yeah.
for a long time. And so yeah, and that's why it was so special for you to share after I watched that thing. That's why it was so special last night for you to share that with us
Yeah.
and for us to go through that and to feel you going through that and then to feel where you're at with that as we're going through it as well, and it was good. It felt good to me that came to you. It's a massive. I felt the whack when I watched it that you felt.
Yeah.
When you explain what you felt when it happened, and I could feel it anyways as I'm listening to it. It was the same. I had the same thing. No tears, just that whack in the chest. There was just the whole thing, that you explained was exactly what I felt. It's huge. That's for you what you've had to experience there and go through with that guy. That's so important for
Yeah,
you. That was really important.
but I was telling you this last night. Like I got the news I wanted. Like
Yeah.
I got that's what I need. That's the answer I wanted. If he gave me the answer I didn't want,
Mm,
I don't think no one would listen to that. No one,
mm,
it's not a good episode.
mm.
And so again, I just feel guilt that our stories are different in that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And
I know
like,
they passed in the accident. I know
yeah.
all three passed in the accident.
Okay.
So
How many years after that? And then you try to slit your throat. How long after that? How many years?
so that was 2 years, roughly 2 years
Let's talk about
after
let's
it.
talk about those 2 years. What the culture of Australia during that time, 1996, you're a construction worker?
Mm,
You're trying to go back to work, right?
yeah. I did go back
You did go back. How
eventually, 3 months after it was. I think we talked about this
you,
last time. It was like 2 or 3 months.
3 months
Dude.
you're back to work after losing?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Fucking mental because it was so hard.
Well, in
Mason,
America, we'd probably
believe
give
me.
you 48 hours. So at least you got 3 months, maybe. Anyway, that was a
Mm,
bad joke, but not really a joke. It's pretty bad how
it's all
much
good.
bereavement time they give you.
Mm.
But you go back to work and walk us through it. People aren't nice to you.
It's just that thing, like, because everyone knew what was going on, but no one's coming to see if you're asking if you're okay or how you doing. So I just put on, as you know, put the brave face on, the mask, and went about trying to go about things that pretend it didn't happen. That's just basically what you're doing. And that's that whole thing about, like, when you're brought up to not feel anything. And that's just how it is, basically, with a lot of families, like, that's just, no one's feeling anything. It's just the way it is,
Yeah.
and that's all part of that, the program stuff and all that. It's all by design too, like, you're easy to control if you're not feeling nothing. But yeah, so you're in that space so you don't, I did not know what had happened to me, how to feel it, how to deal with it, what to do. Just had no idea what to do, you know, made a couple of attempts to go and see someone and just walk straight out, because it's just like, I'm thinking, even in that space that I was in, I'm thinking, I need to help you. You know, like twice I did it, you know. I walked out going, even in that space that I was in, because I was in, it's terror, you know, it's not trauma. With this, it's terror.
Terror, if you're American.
Yeah, terror.
No, I like your way better. Terror.
And so, yes, I was just feeling that all the time, in that space of terror all the time, but just trying so hard to just not to pretend that it wasn't happening, and having moments where I'd, you know, and trying to, and I'd lose work because I'd start taking time off because I was not good, you know, and then I'd have to start again and go back. And it was a really, really, really hard thing. But all I knew was I got to try and just do something, because nothing else was. I'd tried with a couple of different, you know, shrinks or whatever, and nothing was working. And so I just tried to do it on my own, you know, and I knew I had to try and, you know, do something, but I was still, you know, smoking weed, and I was still, you know, not being kind to myself, and just, but also because you're not going to it, and that can't happen if you're not going to it at all. The wheels are going to fall off at some stage. And then talking to people could see what was happening to me. I couldn't. So I just kept thinking, oh, I'll just do this, and I'll just do that, and if I do this, I'll do it. And, you know, you're just like on a graph, it's like this, you know, and that's how it is. You have these tiny little moments of, you know, of something, and then it'll just spiral out of control, you know.
When you try to take your own life, was that the wake-up call that you kind of maybe started turning things around or making different decisions?
Yeah, well, it was just that was the smack in the face. It couldn't get any worse than that.
Like, I can't even kill myself.
Yeah, so
like,
but it just, I wasn't in a place that I felt safe. Same thing. There was not everyone had my back.
When you say safe, do you mean like heard, understood?
Nah, just safe, because I was in another state. I was out in the middle of the bush.
You mean physically?
Yeah, physically. So in another,
you're
another interstate, you know, like, so, and with that happening, I could feel like this. It was like a you know, a snowball going down the hill, getting bigger and bigger, or a train coming along, you know, coming at you. And I could just feel this. It was like this build-up of, and it was, when I think of it now, I didn't know what it was then, and I just was terrorized by it, you know, like, but I could feel this, and it was terror. It was just rising. This terror was just rising, you know, and I was with a guy that I know, and his brother. And I thought, when we went away, I thought, I need to get away. I need to go away. I was even talking about I was going to go around Australia in my car, you know. That's just the run thing, yeah. Like, I'll just go away.
I'll outrun it all.
Yeah, you know. And so when that opportunity came, I thought, I'll just do that. Not even feeling or thinking where I'm at. I got no guidance whatsoever, just doing it on my own. And so I went, let's go. And we went over on the boat and whatever. And then so we just over there, and I could feel this thing happening, and it was just terrorizing me so much and these guys, they got nothing. They got no idea what was happening to me, because they're the same. They're not feeling anything either. So it's not no one's fault. They just,
and you're putting on the mask, pretending you're
putting
fine.
on, trying. And there was other stuff that happened there as well. And so I just was trying to run. So I just kept saying to my mate who I'm close to, can you come for a run with me? And he's just like, what's going on here? And okay. They're drinking and, you know, and smoking weed, you know, and now he's going for a run with this guy, you know. So I was trying to do that, to just move this, whatever it was, you know, away. And then it just ended up, I just said, mate, I got to go home. I have to leave. I got to go. And they're like, what's going on? And I said, I got to go, I got to go. And I was just in this state and it was just rolling. It was getting worse and worse. And so we tried to get to the airport. There was no flights. So then they take me back. I said, just take me somewhere. I'll go tomorrow, because I just didn't want to go back where I was because of how I was feeling. And I get into, they drop me off, like, and because they didn't know,
Yeah,
they
they
don't
don't
know
know
what's going
that
on.
you're about. Yeah, they have no
Nah, they got
idea.
no idea. So then I get dropped off there, and it just got worse and worse. And then it was just this whole dark night where everything just caves in. Everything just crumbles, caves in, terror, and you just you're falling apart, fully falling apart. You're hearing things, you're seeing things, this whole nightmare starts happening, and so there was just, and I was in this room, and I must have, at some stage, I must have started, but I must have passed out. This same thing where these people are all there for these things when they happen, for this to happen, And so I had this guy that loved me at that point, which is what I needed, and he just cared for me, and I could just tell. And so all that what's going on inside, I get it now, because that's the work I'm doing now, But so all of a sudden, all that subsided, and I was able to get home on my own, because of this guy, just how he was able to energy wise make me feel. And that
He
was
made
enough to
he made you feel what? He made you feel safe.
just
He
safe
made
and loved, and that's what you need when you're in that,
yeah.
space, like, of terror. That
How did he make you feel safe and loved?
just how he treated the whole thing, and he was, how he talked to me and how I felt with him talking to me. And then he organised for me to, and took me out to where I had to go. And yeah, so it was that part of it was pretty special, So
What's it like getting a tattoo on your neck after you go through something like that?
yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting.
Like when you were getting it done, was there? You don't believe in PTSD. I mean, you don't do the terms. You just call
No.
it terror.
Mm.
But like, yeah, like what was that? I just quick question that popped into my mind.
Yeah, so to start, that scar that was there, that really used to make me feel terrible, because I had this thing that was just there that reminded me, and I felt really, really, really shit about, because I was struggling still so much myself, and then to have that there as the reminder every time you looked in the, I used to wear my shirts up and do all the sorts of things to just try and sort of block it out, and that's, yeah, I was already, when I think of it now, and I just go, how did you do this? But
I don't know how you did
yeah,
any of this.
but
I
it's,
don't know how you still do. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, so it's just, and then that was when I started getting tattooed, that was where I went, yeah, I'm going to get a tattoo over this, so I don't have to look at it anymore. And when that happened, there was this, because I didn't have to look at it anymore, there was just a tattoo there,
Yeah.
So that was really good, like
Yeah.
that was really good. But and then there's been other times, yeah, that it's interesting too, when I've had other stuff done on it as well. It's been interesting too, like it's been that all comes up, but it's the space that I'm in now that all would come up, but it's this other space that I'm in now, and it was almost therapeutic, because there was this guy with this thing all over when he was doing all that, and just all doing all, and that actually brought it all back, and it was really good. I felt really good, because I'm sitting there just handling it and breathing, and I didn't feel it,
You did,
with the
but you
outline,
did
but I
it.
wasn't,
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling it,
Yeah.
and I just remember Matty, who I know that did it, like, and I felt comfortable with him. He could feel the whole thing. He said he could, because of our connection, he could just feel everything that was rolling when it was all happening, and just on the odd occasion, I'd get a little tear, down the corner from just going through it all. But it was just amazing too, It was a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How often do you still have a well, doing episodes with people who have lost loved ones to suicide, they really have a terrible dark night like you did. Like it all just piles on top of them, and if they can get through that night, they could have another few months, few years, 10 years, who knows?
Mm.
Well, those dark nights are a real thing. But how often do you still, I mean, you're 29 years removed. How often do you still have a rough day or a rough moment where you're really feeling it and it's not going well?
So for quite a while, Mason, yeah, like I've been in a really good space. So I've really been I'm able to talk about this. I can share it with people. Um, and even if there is that emotion, if it does come through, that's okay too, you know.
You just
Like,
allow yourself to feel it.
yeah, it's
And
okay.
I mean, you had a rough moment yesterday.
Yeah,
And
so
you came up to me and Sam, you're like, "I'm not doing good. I'm gonna go to the car and do my breathing,"
yeah,
and yeah, it's just I love that. Like, wow, this guy, like, he's just communicating it. He's not hiding it. You know how many people would just make up an excuse? I had a phone call and just go be on their own. Like,
mm,
I really like that about you. I really look up to that. Like, there's no fear of this judgment. Like, you're like, hey, I'm not doing good. I need a minute. I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't, because I was like concerned, like, oh, do you want me to come with you? Blah, blah, blah. And you're like,
mm,
no, you're good. I just think that communication's so important with grief and just being a person in general. Like, you have to
mm,
communicate these feelings that you have.
mm,
And even in our relationship, like, even in this conversation, some of the things I've said to you have been very uncomfortable. Like, because some disagreement and differences, but I think that's the whole point of a friend.
mm,
Is like we can go to each other and have these conversations and feel heard and be
mhm.
like, yeah, I see how I understand why you'd see that.
Yeah. But that's
Um,
just saying too, like with yesterday, Mason. So at the moment, yeah, I've ended up that's just going on now. I'm going through a rough patch now, but that's just from what's been going on, other stuff in my life.
not really the grief
And I've
of
got run down because I have been run down with what I'm doing physically, doing too much, you know,
yeah,
and it to the point of so I've had to stop working, you know, because I can't if I can't hold that space that I hold when I work with people. I can't, you can't do the work. It's not
yeah,
fair, you know. So that's just something that's been happening the last sort of 3 months, and so that ties in with what's been going on the last 3 months. But what you were asking about, that part of things, that yeah, that yesterday, that wasn't
that wasn't grief
that
related.
wasn't
That was
that
something else.
wasn't to do with that.
Well,
That's
I still stand by what I said though.
no,
Like
no,
the
no,
communication of
for
it,
sure.
I love it.
Yeah, and but then we've spoken too, you know, like I was also feeling you a little bit yesterday. We've spoken
Yeah,
about, you know, and because of this is that because of the space I'm holding now, I'm getting that. That's why I'm not working because I'm actually norm in that space that you hold when you're doing the work I do now. You're not being affected by the stories. You're able to, because of what's happened to you and the work that you've done on yourself, you can hold this space, which is what's needed to work with people. And when they start telling you their stories and heavy stories, lots of them, you're able to you're able to sit in that and let them go through what they're feeling and actually hold a space.
yeah.
And so just at the moment, I'm not holding that space as well as I should be. And so I'm feeling a lot of stuff with yourself too, you know, like which I just am. And that, dude, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's a fucking wonderful thing.
No,
You
I
know,
agree
like,
with you.
and it's just that I'm not. And so that's what was going on yesterday, you know, when sort of since we've talked about it. But what the questions you asked, which was, you know, do you have these rough days and whatever? I'm always attending to it, and it's always they're always with me. But I get it now. I get what's because of the work that I've done. It sounds like I just go, oh, I just get it now. There's been years and years and years and years of just discipline and work and discipline and work to work through
Yeah,
to get yourself into a better space
I think
to feel it.
grief's just like most things. Like it takes practice and work. Like you got to go into it every day.
Mm,
And yeah, what you're able to, all the emotions you're able to handle, it's because you do the work.
mm.
And yeah, it's a continual battle. How do you process losing your partner and then losing two kids? Is that for me? it's really hard to distinguish what I'm feeling. Like, is this pain I'm feeling the loss of my high school sweetheart, beautiful wife, Courtney? Or is this my beautiful son, Riggins? Or is this our only daughter, Frankie? Is this my
Mm,
brother, Race? Is this right? It's really hard for me to, it's just a blob of grief right now.
mm,
And I've had like, when we did our event on the anniversary, I spoke, my therapist spoke, and then we did yoga with Keisha. I was exhausted and I was getting ready for Keisha's yoga and I'm like, okay, just do the yoga, get through it. You just got to show support for Keisha. Like, you have to do this. So I get to the yoga room and I lay down and Keisha's like, you guys can just, if you want to just sit there, you can just sit there. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to lay here. So Keisha starts and it's borderline panic attack. Like, I'm
mm,
shaking, I'm crying.
mm,
Luckily, the yoga's dark, the lights are off, so I don't like it. But like, I'm struggling.
mm,
And then I'm breathing through it. It just reminded me of you. Like, so I'm struggling, and then I'm like, okay, I start breathing, and then because breathing's something you can control, which is feels good. And then I start talking to him, and so I start talking. I usually start with Courtney. I start talking to Courtney, and as I'm crying and shaking, and I just got done talking, and Keisha's doing yoga. So I talk with Courtney and it's beautiful. And then I talk to Riggins and it's beautiful. And then I talk to Frankie and it's beautiful. And then I talk to Race and it's beautiful. And then I talk to Ryder and it's beautiful. And so I have moments where I can like distinguish between them, but it's usually in just conversations in my head. Like, when it comes to the emotions, feels, it's just anger, sadness, depression, grief, hate myself, blob.
mm.
Is that what it's like for you? Are you able to, how is that like for you?
The difference being here for me back in those early times, Mason, you're feeling this. You really are feeling this. You know what I mean? It's as hard as it is. It's only 4 years. You're feeling it. You're actually feeling it. I I had a hard time because I just didn't understand. I was everything I was doing was trying not to feel it. If I look back, that's what I was doing the whole time, was just trying not to feel it and bury it. And that's what I did for years, and I'd have these moments in my car where I could feel them. And they were beautiful moments that I have. It was always in my car, always in my car. But it wasn't until I met that healer and when he brought up what he brought up, like I go there for my elbow to fix my elbow.
Yeah.
And he's got no idea who I am. The guy that gave me the contact, he can't even speak English, basically. And so no one knows who anyone is. But I go to this guy and he's in a state as well. And he's just here for a couple of weeks doing some stuff at one of the cancer hospitals, some healing work. And so when I went to him, that was what made things for me, was the first time that made things that helped me feel it, which was when he was working on me. At the end of it, we ended up, he's huffing and puffing, and I said, what's wrong? Because he's just working on my elbow like that,
No, the body keeps the score. That's like a
and
real thing.
it gets all this stuff coming through, which I get now. He gets all this stuff coming through while he's with me, and says to me, and I'm asking him what's going on, what's wrong, because he was sort of panting. There's not a lot of physical stuff you wouldn't think, because when you know nothing about energy work, I'm
Yeah.
going, what, panting? What? You're only just
What
doing that,
what's
mate.
wrong with you, dude? It's just an elbow.
Yeah. But when you understand now, when
Yeah.
you're working with energy, it is a lot of work, a lot of energy. So, and he's sort of puffing in the chair, and then he says to me that when he's working on people contact him, spirit contacts him. And so I just straight away knew and had this feeling, and then he goes, there's a woman, and because I've buried that I told her to overtake. So unconsciously I'm carrying
So
that I
much
killed the
guilt.
3 of them.
So much
That
guilt.
whole thing of just unconsciously and even how I even remember how I said it, which was she looked and said, "Really, should I?" And I go, "Yeah."
Like,
And I
yeah,
remember that's how
you
I
should
sort of
pass it.
said it, yeah, just go,
Yeah, it's
go.
not a
It
big
was
deal.
would have been something like that, and that
Yeah.
I remember that anyway. And so I'm holding that, but unconsciously holding that, and things haven't been too great. It was so up and down like a washing machine. And um and he says that there's a woman here, and she's saying that stop blaming yourself, that we're okay. Stop blaming yourself. You have to stop blaming yourself. We're okay. And then he goes, and she's with 2 children. And they're saying the same thing, Craig. You got to stop blaming yourself. Stop blaming yourself. And I had to stop myself from nearly passing out in there. And I waited until I got into, it was all just, it was so much. And I could feel it too when he started saying, so I sat in the car and just lost my shit in the car and could feel it all. And it all, that was the start of, like actually feeling something for me, because just how I got brought up and how it was and what the building site thing and just everything that had happened in my life and how I'd been brought up and whatever, that's just, no one was feeling anything, you just get on with things, mate. Get on with things,
Here's some
and no one,
tissues. Don't cry.
yeah, it
Don't
just,
talk about
but
that.
no one even, and it's okay because I get it
Yeah.
right now, but no one ever asked, are you okay? Ever. Even my friends and everything. It's just, there was one,
Okay.
I worked with a
Okay,
guy
Craig.
that was,
Stop.
I worked with a guy for a while.
Craig.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Really?
Really good. Yeah. Yeah. At the moment, I'm having to do some work on some things, but it sits with me okay, Mason, now, because I understand what's happened and what we're doing here. That this isn't just it, and I understand how these people come and go from here all the time, and when you understand what's actually happening, I'm not taking anything, dude. You've got so much, you got work to do, and you've got
No,
so much to, I'm
yeah.
not taking anything
That's why I
away
got
from what you're
questions. No,
feeling, right?
that's
But
why.
with time,
Yeah.
Mason, and if you're able to do that work, but then also keep yourself in the best optimum shape you can, physically, mentally, spiritually, and then have someone that you can do that work with to move all these things through that are causing suffering,
Yeah.
that are causing suffering. But then again, just let us say then, but at that 4 year where you are now, I'll look, Mason, and look at where you are and understand what has happened to you and what you've lost and feel every skerrick of it. That's an Australian thing, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, and I do just go, I take my hat off to this guy because of the way that you've been able to, what you've done. And at that 4 year point, I take myself back to 4 years, and I said it in that pamphlet of mine, I was having trouble tying my shoelaces, Mason. And that's just my story and your story, and this is just the way it's played out,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah, and from that point when that happened, I started feeling some things and then being more aware of things and then doing more work, Mason. I just did so much work, dude. I did so much work on myself, like exercise, everything, just doing everything well, being fit and healthy and whatever. And then starting to feel some things come through, and have some moments. But I was lucky enough to have a guy that I did work with quite a bit over this whole time, on and off. Just a really lovely bloke, family man. And I'd given away all the drugs and the drinking and done, that's the other thing. I'd given all that away, and this guy wasn't on that path either. So that was good to work with a guy that was in a good space, but he didn't understand anything that was happening with me. So his way of, and it was cool as too. So his way was having a laugh, like that was the
Yeah.
way he
You gotta have some
did
dark
things,
humor in there, some laughter
Yeah.
for
So,
sure.
and that was good to have while I was going through that, that space, and then meeting Sonia was wonderful as well.
Before we get to Sonia,
Yeah.
Shondell would be 40, I think. Aaron would be 38 today.
Mm.
What is that like?
So
Because
I don't.
I think grief gets harder. I think because it's the same pain, but now I just haven't seen them in 4 years. I just have like all the memories, who they are, what they look like. And you're like, it's been 29 years of that for you.
So I don't think of that,
Are
mate.
they still like little kids in your mind?
Yeah.
And when you communicate with them, they're little kids?
The same, yeah. It's just, but then I'm never thinking of what they'll be doing. I don't think of that because of how this works. So no one's going anywhere from what I feel and believe and experience as well. So I experience this now from the work that I've done. No one's going anywhere. No one goes anywhere. They're just not here. We're here in a flash, and we come and go from here, this place,
But do you think like because I was thinking about this the other day, like, I don't like the idea that my family's dead and they're just in this holding cell waiting for me. Like, so when I die and I get there, is Riggin still going to be 5, about to turn 6? How old's Courtney? How old am I? Did Courtney fall in love with someone on her? Because like, I wouldn't want them to be in a cage stuck waiting for me. I have 40, 50 years maybe
They're not.
to live. And so, right. And so like, okay, they're not. They're doing stuff. So like, okay. I assume Courtney's similar to me then. Like, I'm hurting. I miss her. Courtney's hurting. Wherever she's at, she's hurting. She misses me and Blue and her many family members and friends. So yeah, of course you want them. And I would love it if she found love again. And like I found Sammy. Like I know Courtney helped me find Sammy and loves that I love Sammy. And I have that for her. Like I hope she has that. And I can't believe I'm saying that. I used to, like, there's no fucking way. Like, it's either me or fucking no one.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just, and so like, okay, if they are growing and developing, are we going to recognize each other? Are they still going to, what is that going to be like? There's some fear there for me because we're not with each other. And I think it's just ridiculous and a lie to tell ourselves that they can just grow and become whatever, but also they're just going to remain super close to you. Like, it's just, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If it sounds too good to be true, it's usually not true type of thing. But I don't want them to be stuck either. So I'd rather have them growing and living and thriving and connecting and experiencing. So that, like, I'm just kind of caught in those thoughts a lot. Like, I don't even know. None of it makes sense to me. Nothing makes sense to me. The only thing that makes sense to me is nihilism. Like nothing means anything. The earth's going to freeze over when the sun goes out. And in a million years, trillion years, we're going to be an ice ball thrown in outer space. And it all means nothing. That, I don't like that. It doesn't make me feel good, but it makes sense. Like it makes sense with my emotions. It makes sense with how I'm feeling inside. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I think my brain is an atheist and my heart is like a Christian, I guess. Or I don't know. It just loves everyone. I don't know how to explain it, but that's kind of where I'm at. And I just don't know how you process that with 29 years, man.
So there's no analytical, because there's all this, what you're saying, and I get it because it's where you're at, like, so all those questions and you're always questioning everything. But after that moment I had with that healer, it freed I believe it freed them somewhat, but it freed me massively to just know that there's this, they're okay. That was the most beautiful thing ever. And then that synchronicity on the way home from there, you know, that was that first time I've really experienced and then understood what that was,
Well,
you know. So
yeah.
that was getting those traffic lights, all that didn't get any traffic lights all the way home, you know. I felt like I'd been picked up and put home after that, you know, and it
Yeah.
was. That's what happened, you know. And so it's just was my understanding that's come with time of that this is just a flashy, you know, like people are coming and going from here all the time. And so it's more of just having faith in, I don't know exactly
Yeah.
what's happening, what with Roundel and the kids and what's going on. And what
I thought
the
you did,
soul
man.
mo-
That's why I came
No,
all
no,
the way
no, no,
over here.
no.
No, I'm
So
sorry.
the soul leaves, yeah, like
Yeah.
it's always moving. It's only the body that dies, you know. So no one's going anywhere. No one goes anywhere. Soul moves on out of this world and to wherever, the universe, you know, like, and that's, I just have faith in this whole thing, how it works, how people, I understand how people are coming and going. I can, you know, through meditation now, you can take yourself into that space where the veil goes, you know, like, and
Yeah.
you start experiencing and connecting with spirit and whatever. And then you can go another layer and there's other thing it's that whole thing of coming into that space of we are a spiritual being having a physical experience, but you still are moving through that space with Courtney and the kids where you
Yeah,
move.
I'm extremely angry. Like
Yeah,
yeah, I'm not doing well
you're
over here.
feeling it. No, you're just
Yeah.
feeling it,
Yeah.
Mason. You're just feeling it, and that's okay. And it's just, but it's a matter of keep feeling it, which you are. You're doing it way more than what I was doing ever, you know, like I wasn't feeling anything. It's what ended up happening, you know. And then it took a long time. There's a lot of work. There's so much work. It's not just this. There's
No,
so much years of
yeah.
just discipline, like
That
ridiculous
that's
discipline.
why I look up to you, man, and respect you. It's exhausting work. It's not fun. You get your ass kicked every day, and you've been doing it for 29 years. And um,
But you move out of that space too. You're not getting it. You won't get your ass kicked like you are now. You if you do the
but I
work,
kind of
Mason.
want to get my ass kicked. You know, you want, don't you? Okay, man. Okay, remember when you
Yeah.
felt awful, like when you were in your guilt, like they died because
Yeah.
of me. I told her to overtake. Like that's. I just. How okay, let's change. Let me ask you this. So we're in your kitchen yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, and I think me and Sammy are just having. I don't know. You see me and Sammy laughing or whatever, and you look at me and you're like, "You and Sammy, me and Sonia, it's the same." And like we just started busting up like, um, these girls that we have, they're amazing. Sammy is truly amazing. I think Sonia is truly amazing for you. When did you meet Sonia? How long after did you meet Sonia? And then I want to get into the programming conversation.
Yeah, so it was like 4 years or 3 or 4 years, whatever, meeting Sonia, and that was when I was in that space of, you know,
You're
like I
still
was
struggling.
I was really struggling, really struggling, but I was training a lot and putting a lot of effort into that, you know, to try and make myself feel well so I could feel this thing well, you know, like I knew that was what I had to do. And I had to stop doing everything. I wasn't doing any drugs or drinking or whatever, you know. And then just here and there, there'd be I'd have a go. Just something silly would come up. I shouldn't say silly. Just something would come up, and I'd just feel like I'd do. And then as soon as I do it, but then I'd just go, nah, dude, it's enough. It's just enough. Enough of that. We're doing this. We're doing this now. you know, because things in that space were so much better, Mason. They were just, I felt good, you know. I felt good in that space, you know.
How do you falling in love again? What was that like? The guilt? Did you have guilt, or were you past that at that point?
Yeah, so before Sonia, I'd met a couple of girls and that, and just things weren't good, just because I wasn't right. And, you know, I remember meeting a girl and then coming home with a girl, you know, and she's coming home thinking it's going down. And I came and I don't even know what I was thinking. I can't, it was just, it was a messy time, you know? And so, but I remember doing that and then coming home to where I was living and then I got the photo album out, showed her and holding the kids. And you can imagine how that went down. And she's screaming, "Get me out of here, get me out." So that's what was going on, Mason, you know what I mean?
I
Like
remember you telling me that.
yeah,
Like,
it wasn't
that's
great, you know?
that's so awful, man.
But then that was a couple of other girls that I met that wasn't great because it was just, it wasn't right or wasn't the right time or the right person, you know?
Like that girl in that situation is just so like the story, and that like she just said something so stupid because you just whapped her with like this awful bombshell of a story.
Yeah, like that's so huge.
Like, you give them a little bit of grace, or you like? I mean, obviously, you're not that relationship.
No, it didn't work.
But like, how did you get mad at her?
No,
Like, yeah,
not at all.
Yeah,
like that's just I'm just sitting there and just I've done that and I don't even know what I'm doing, Mason. You know.
Yeah,
you know.
I do know because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Right, so it's just being in that space of just.
But then Sonia, she was different.
I heard her speak when I was training at the gym, and I get it now. There was always just this feeling I had that wouldn't it be amazing to meet someone that was interested in physical fitness and all the things that I'm trying to get good at.
Yeah.
And then I just happened to hear, I wasn't looking, but it just had this feeling, you know, and then this girl talked in the gym that I'd seen first, and then I heard her talk, and that angel thing, I just thought, my God, it's an angel.
Oh.
You know, like, and it took me 6 weeks to say something to her. Because
you kept going to the gym though. You were going to the gym more.
I was always going, you know. But
days.
It took a long time, and it was almost like for both of us, you know, it was it all happened pretty quick, and it was just felt right, and really right.
That was me and Sammy. Like, we went on a date or whatever, like a hangout thing, and like we literally just never stopped hanging out. It kind of reminded me of me and Courtney. It was just kind of like we're a thing. Yeah, one thing I'm learning in my grief journey is you can't do it alone. I think humans were built to feel and experience horror, like terrible things. That's part of life, but we're not built to do it alone. Like, we're not. And Sammy, yeah, it's hard to put into words what she does for Blue and myself. We talk a lot about this programming. Best way I like to explain it is the movie The Matrix. But you've never seen the movie The Matrix, Craig.
No.
But it's basically this guy Neo gets pulled out of the dream, the programming, and is told about the brutal truth of reality. And that the real world is basically a dream. You're in a dream state, and a lot of people prefer being in the dream state because reality is very difficult and brutal and harsh. Maybe not worth living for some people. And so Neo is supposed to be like this hero that pulls everyone out of the Matrix or whatever. I don't know, something like that. I think I'm close. But anyway, so they pull Neo out of the Matrix, out of the dream state. And if you watch the movie, like, the scenes when he's not in the Matrix and he's in reality are brutal. They barely have clothes. They're eating slop, oatmeal, flavorless, not good food. They're trying to not get killed by these alien creature things. It's not good. And there's a scene where this guy who's in this group trying to pull everyone out of the Matrix, he turns on him. He turns on him and he goes to the Matrix and he's like, hey, I'll give up my crew if you promise me to give me the best dream ever. And there's a scene of him like just eating this juicy steak. And he has it on his fork. And it, like you can almost taste the steak while you're watching the movie. Like they do such a good job. And he's like, I know it's fake. I know this steak isn't even real, but it tastes real. Basically, like, I'm going to choose the steak. So he turns on him. And I think that's the best part of that whole movie to me. Because the programming, they make you feel isolated if you leave it. Like if you sound like a weird hippie theorist guy. It's lonely. If you leave the programming, like, okay, I'm not gonna have the smartphone. I'm gonna be a flip phone guy. Good luck. You know, no one else is leaving the program. And that's how they built it. Like, okay, you can leave. And it's loneliness. It's isolation. You're eating slop with 4 other strangers trying not to die. And no one wants, and so like, it's hard to not give into the programming because it's either that or loneliness, it feels. Very few people want to exit the program or even acknowledge that they're in a program. What do you think of that? How'd you think of my little programming description? You want to take it from there?
Yeah, so it's different. I see it, obviously, I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, the movie
probably won't ever. I don't really watch too.
Yeah, how are we going to end the episode today? You don't even watch movies.
Nah,
we'll figure that out.
We'll do something. Yeah, so I see it. My take on it is, you know, we come here, the soul incarnates into a body, and to experience this, you know, this world. But when
I have to do this multiple times.
Hang on a second. Let me finish. and so that comes in, when it comes in, that soul, our soul, it's just love and light. It's there's no mud. You know, that's my description for the crap that gets piled on you once you're here. But
no mud, no lotus.
No mud. Yeah, don't have lotuses without mud. Yeah. And that's why we're here. We're here to experience what we can't experience and where we come from. And it's that evolution of the soul. That's what this is, you know, like, so, and we're coming and going from here all the time. Whether we take a contract before we come, there might be something in that. I'm not too sure, you know, but that feels like there's something in that.
I think the contract is pain. Like, I don't think you know exactly what will happen to you, but the deal is, like, if you go down there, it's pain and error. Yeah. Good luck.
And so, and then once you're here, I like that whole way of putting it is like the parents they're making the body for that soul to incarnate into, and then the guide to then give that everything it needs for here to live here, and your guide and that, you know, that little person then that is just the body and the soul, you know, it's separate. And then it's just there, and then life comes at you, you know, and so there's all this stuff here, but and there's obviously there's things here that are being pushed and given to us too, you know, and that I believe, you know, there's coming from certain people, I suppose, or groups or whatever, that it's all about control and people, money, control, and trying to have it what they want to do, and it's a matter of navigating that and whatever's happening to you, and actually just we're just here to experience, like to experience all these dark and light, and get through that and get good at doing that, and but then the whole time we're doing that is having love and empathy for others. But that whole program that you're talking about, once that starts getting piled on, you become very selfish and it's all about me sort of thing, and when people are running around in that state, they're easily controlled, so that's my sort of take. And for me, it was about, sometimes it takes to getting cracked, whatever it might be, something tough or hard to go through that cracks that casing. If you talk about, like finding Joe and the golden Buddha.
Tell us the golden Buddha, Craig.
So the golden Buddha was, as you say, I say Buddha. Was there was a time and there was this statue of the golden Buddha. There was some invading people were coming, so they covered the statue in mud and concrete, and so it didn't look like it was worth anything, and they wouldn't take it. And then these people stayed that invaded, and then over time, everyone forgot about it.
Everyone thought it was a mud statue.
Thought it was a mud statue, a stone statue. And then some young kids meditating on it or something, and a piece falls off, and it's been cracked. That's that whole thing that ties in, and there's gold underneath. And so that ties in with what I'm talking about with this. We get whatever it may be, we get cracked like you and me did.
Yeah.
But that crack, that's where the light can get in. If you can find the right person to help guide you and shine light as we go into that process, that is that awakening process.
I think the programming kind of teaches you to put the mud piece back on and cover it up. And really, like, the metaphor is like, once they saw a little gold, they peeled off all of it and found this whole golden statue. And I think it's a good metaphor for the programming, because like I just said, is that it doesn't want you to break down and to feel it. It wants you to try to cover it up and hide it, and makes you think that other things are more important or some things shouldn't be talked about. And I think a big part of the programming is we compare ourselves. We compare our grief. We compare that. I think that keeps so many people from talking and asking for help and helping each other. You probably get this too, but I have a lot of messages that are like, Mason, I just lost so-and-so, and I know it's not as bad as, it's just this comparison. And I think it's more, me and Ryan were talking about this, I think it's more of just understanding that everyone's grief journey is different. It's just different. It's not more or less or better or worse. It's just different. And even me and you. So I came all the way across the world because there's so much similarities. But even with that, there's so many differences. Like, it's just different.
Yeah.
And I think communicate that is important, and it's okay to ask for help, and don't think that someone has it harder than you, so I can't ask for help, and I shouldn't talk about my problems because people have it worse. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I think that's part of it too. What helped you lean into this, keep peeling back the mud, and helped you? You kept saying, like, you get it now. You get it now. What do you get? And how did you get there?
I feel so, from chasing that space of keeping fit, eating well. Then when the meditation
not
came
talked
in,
a lot by me enough, by the way, like those things I think are so important that you do.
What's that?
The exercising and the eating well. Like, I think that does so much for the grief.
Yeah. So it's keeping the body healthy. It's all, I mean, everything's tied in, obviously, you know what I mean? But it's this whole thing of being able to to heal through these things and complete these experiences, Mason, because that's what it's about. Like whatever it is, whether it's a marriage breakup, whether it's losing a kid, whether it's, you know, whatever it may be, seeing something horrific, you know, like just whatever it may be, we are at our core, we have all the faculties to deal with that really well and feel that and sit in that and go through it, and then if it whacks you, then heal through that, grow, and that happen from whatever it is that can happen, rather than bang and then that happen and fall away, you know. So it's at our core, we're set up for that, but here there's all this stuff comes from everywhere that sort of puts you in that, like how my parents are the best parents ever.
Oh, my parents are the best parents.
Yeah. And so, but they were in that space of that unemotional, not feeling space, and they had stuff going on, you know what I mean? And so, but they were the best parents they could possibly be, and just were, you know. And then there was just certain things that happen that you take on and you get affected by, and you take that luggage and mud, and then you go out and have your life at school and whatever's going on. But if you haven't been brought up to understand what's happening with you here, like, and be in a great space, you're not going to deal with things when they come at you real well, are you? You're just going to, and that's the most of the world that's what they're doing. Because once you start moving out of that space, that program space, and start moving out of it and actually finding your true self and moving energetically into your true self, the soul, if you want to say it like that, or just true self, or I, or however you want to describe it, our core. Yeah, it's once you start moving out of that and you do that work, and you can work with someone that can help and guide you out of that, right? Or you're going to go hell for leather yourself and just do everything you can to find everything and do all that work yourself, which is what a lot of what I did. Once it's not, that's when you start seeing what's been going on, and you start leaving that sort of, you're saying, programmed sort of life behind, and people, and in that space. So that space that we're talking about is also that printout, that photo that I've got at home, you know?
Yeah.
So that's that reptilian part of the brain. It's the smallest part of the fight or flight part of the brain. And then that's the lower end, if you want to talk chakras, that lower energy centers, the three lowest energy centers. That's where that program space we're talking about, that's that space. Everyone's in that space. And in that space, there's suffering in that. There's a lot of suffering, and a lot of, you hear people talking, you know, not too many people have got good things to say much, you know, nowadays.
Unfortunately.
So I could be going and, just good example, I can be going and walking the dogs, and all these people that I come across and meet, and I'm like, oh, how you going? Good, having a good day, you know, or whatever it is. I'm in my little light bubble and I'm flying where I am going along, you know. And then, but most of these people, even if you say, oh, it's a beautiful day, always come back with, yeah, but tomorrow's going to be shit. Or it's because it's always either looking behind or looking too far in the future, and no one's just being, you know, and just enjoying that moment. And that takes work, you know, to bring people out of that. And usually to bring people out of that, usually something hard happens, nearly always, for a purpose. Something hard happens that makes you go, fuck, I feel really shit. What am I going to do here? You know, and that's that getting cracked, whatever it may be. And that can start that process of awakening and finding the true self, you know.
Do you think it's possible, like, what if they haven't been cracked? And I know most people do, like, life's brutal, or they haven't been cracked yet. How do you help or talk to those people? Or do you just, they're not on this side of it, so the connection's difficult? How do you deal with those people?
Some people will just feel something. there hasn't been an event of any sort, or there hasn't been a marriage breakup or whatever it is. But some people that I talk to anyway, and I come across a lot of these people that will come and start seeing you, they'll have there's something, they can feel something. And that, to me, that's the soul screaming, please, can we do something, to let me out, like they've just felt something. They sometimes just get this feeling of something, and then you can sit with those people and you can feel what's happening and take them through that. And then all of a sudden that light comes in and then all of a sudden they understand what they're feeling. Because most people don't understand any of all this knowledge, it's old knowledge, and
it's just
this knowledge,
just a language that they haven't been taught or try to use yet, like the language of grief and trauma and talking about it and feeling it. I mean, just like me and you, when we were struggling, like we had no idea how to even go about it at first. I've been doing some grief guide stuff. Like, I like how we both like the word guide. We both understand that, like, we're just guides, man. I've done a couple sessions of that. What's it look like for you? Like, you're working with someone, maybe it's your first session or you just met them. What's your game plan? Are you just listening or what are you doing?
So a lot of the people I just come across, or it'll just be through someone that I know and whatever. There's no preparation, Mason. There's no plan. I haven't gone use books to learn things to start and like pulling this thing apart, and this is happening because this is happening and this is right brain, left brain. It's not that. It's just holding this space which is this higher, and it's not like there's that and I'm this, or I'm just talking about the energetic space that you hold. When we do this work, you start coming out of those lower energy centers, and you're raising that energy when you start doing this work and finding yourself, and it's the same with the brain state. All of a sudden you're in this little fight or flight part that's like that's actually this big, and you start firing into these other two parts, and the whole thing, it's all about being aligned and syncing everything in, like there's neurons in the heart. I always used to talk about just neurons in the brain, but there's neurons in the heart, because this is stronger than this, So you're just going in there in this higher space, and it's all to do with energy. It's all to do with vibration and frequency. And you go in with that person and you just sit and you just feel. And generally you can get a bit of a feel. And as I'm walking up to my space, you can get a bit of a feel on what's going down, And a lot of the time the people get out of their car and they can just feel something already when they're there, that's presence.
Well, how about the first time you picked me up from the airport? We just started crying. We almost cried just a couple of days ago when I came back. Yeah, I think that's the genuineness that you have empathy. You have empathy.
It's love, mate.
You have love.
Love.
Yeah, and like that's what I really love about you, man, is I always just feel heard talking to you, and also understood at a very unique, different level that most people just can't relate to at all, obviously. But I love everything about that answer, because that's everything I believe in too. Like it's just about listening and loving and holding space with them and letting them talk and letting them express themselves. And when they feel safe, like when you felt safe with the people that impacted you, man, that's so important. Like that connection, because once you can feel safe, then you open up, and then that's when the healing, I struggle with that word healing, but that's when the healing starts to take place, I think.
And that's why I use that guide, because that gets thrown around.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there saying they're doing healing and they're doing this and doing that. Yeah. And they're all these things. But it is that whole thing of, so when you sit there and you're you're in that space yourself, you then make that connection. You can tell as soon as that person rolls up if that's going to happen. And it's only really not happened a couple of times, but there's still been something that's happened, but then that's always someone will come once and it's not their thing, so that's happened a couple of times and that's okay too. They've just sort of, they're coming looking for a tablet. That's how I explain that.
Like a game plan.
Yeah,
like a step by step.
Can't you just do something while I'm here? Can't you give me a tablet?
No, you're gonna have to feel it and cry about it. And you're gonna have to go into this dark abyss that no one wants to go into.
But it is all about that. It just unfolds itself, and it's something that Terry's been able to. My guide, he's been able to, healer, whatever you want to say, he's been able to help with that. Like I tell you, he doesn't tell me how to do anything, but he's just guiding energetically, and it's just presence, and there's just this connection that we have that's just amazing. He's an amazing man, and that's this thing. It just rolls itself. It actually just unfolds itself. So there's no plan, Mason. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm getting lost. So there's no plan as such, and it'll just unfold, and it just goes while you're sitting there with that person. They'll start talking, and this thing just happens, and we just start going along the path. And as we're going along this, whatever it is that we're going along, they're moving energy and that's stuck and trapped and hurting and pain, and they're moving these things that are causing them pain and why they're there. That starts as they start talking about it. This whole connection's happening. This is coming in through here for me, and this whole this thing's going down, and it's just this energy, and it's all connection, and it's all love, and it's all just moving through, and you're moving this stuff through these, and it's just moving it, and it's lighter, and when you walk out, people say very similar things, and all these things just come up. Even though they might have come to talk about this, there'll be not just that, there'll be 5 other things that have come up as well, and we've worked and moved through that. And then a lot of the time you can tell when that work's been done and there's been enough work done on whatever we're dealing with. Or if I don't feel that that's happened, then next time they'll be talking about something else, but then I'll check back in on what I just want to check in on when you were here last time, sort of thing. But I don't write, no writing anything down. It's all just, you just feel and everything. And, so when you sit with that person and you're in this space that I'm talking about, you're actually, they're feeling you. They'll sit down and they're feeling that, and that's something most of the time that those people have never felt this connection.
A lot of people tell me that. A lot of people say the same.
And that was like when we met, Mason, remember in the car, that was that, you were feeling that, and it's so wonderful, dude, that's so special.
Finding the connection, man, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the quote, life's 10% what happens to you, 90% how you respond to it, obviously. And I think you're one of the people that first jump into my mind when I think of people that represent that quote from what you've lost. I had Blue, dude, and so you didn't have anyone, and so the loneliness that you went through, and now what you're doing now, dude, when you tried to kill yourself, I was 8 years old. Think about that. Life's a weird thing. I needed you, man. You didn't. I didn't even meet Courtney yet.
Yeah, but
Blue wasn't a person.
I was just training. I was getting ready.
Yeah, and that's what, I think that's some inspiring shit, kind of. You don't know who you can help, and it might be 20 years from now. It might be 29 years from now. And I think if you're looking for hope or faith, I think stories like that should give you plenty of it. So thank you for your example to me and my son. It means a lot. I know you're a guide and you don't offer advice, but I'm going to ask for some advice from you, Craig, and then we can talk about whatever else you want. We got to wrap this up soon. But I'm 4 years in. Again, I know I don't mean to put any pressure on you because I know we just talked about you don't give advice, but I look up to you and I respect you a lot. Do you have any? You don't have to worry about hurting my feelings. You can say whatever. But yeah, I would like some help if you have any for me here in the last couple minutes.
It's all about what's worked for me, you know, and that's what it's all about. And it's about getting ourselves into a better space to move through what's happened, Mason. That's what it's all about. It's all about just being in a better space to move through everything that you've got to feel. And you've got so much more to feel, obviously, but you've done amazingly, I think. So, but it is that these things of like what I found work for me, I had to give away using anything external to, you know, to help me, you know what I mean, or to push things down or whatever. So it was the, you know, drinking alcohol, doing any sort of drugs, whatever it is, right? Doing that. And then I had to move into that. That was the one thing that saved us, was that fitness. It was just something that I just grabbed hold of and I was just doing it all the time. My job was also physical, what I was doing as well. But yeah, that was the first thing that I did. And then I started doing all this work with my subconscious. I used to listen to a lot of things while I was training, while I was driving into work, while I was coming home from work. I was always listening to these things, just reprogramming that subconscious. Because as you know, that subconscious and that all that stuff, it's drilling you with all this negativity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In that the program brain too, you know, there's so much, people may not say it, but everyone's got this negative stuff tape running in their heads, you know, through whatever's going on in their lives. And it's a matter of actually, you can reprogram that, but it's just repetition. It's like how you've learned things as a kid, repetition. So all the shit they drill into you at school, not all of it, but most of it, that it's always repetition, because, you know, that's how you can get it into that brain. But so you're able to like reprogram, and that's how I did it, just listening to all this stuff and always exercising, but listening to these certain things, you know. And yeah, and that was one thing, you know, and then it was meditation after that. And what was interesting, and it only came up lately, was at some stage when I was really unwell, I tried to go to I'd forgotten all about it. I actually went to a meditation place to try and learn, and I did one day.
You hated it?
And I was not in a good space, you know, and there was all this trying to sit and be, you know, and just the space that I was in, that was really early. I just thought, what's this shit? You know, like that's basically, but yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me to be sober, man. I don't like reality. It's not good. So yeah, I got things to work on for sure. Craig, I usually end with, we'll do another episode tomorrow because I didn't even get to some of my questions either. But
no, I've got so much more, mate.
Yeah, we got more to get to. How long are we recording for tomorrow? Is it just an hour? Or maybe
an hour and a half.
Maybe hopefully at least an hour and a half, but
probably gonna have to book up another 5.
But this is our whole vacation. This is like we just don't stop talking. We're just talking about all this cool stuff all the time. Anyway, we usually end with top 3 favorite movies, Craig. What do you want to do to end? Because you're not a big movie guy. I don't even remember what we did last time.
Finding Joe. We watched Finding Joe. That was it.
Yeah. Well, top 3 favorite bands, songs, food. What do you like, Craig?
What do I like? What have I found now that I love?
Yeah.
You know, is just, I love that the people that are around me that are my friends are all searching for the same space that I've found, and it's an ongoing thing, but I've found this space, and these other people that I know and are friends with, they're all looking for the same thing, you know, at whatever sort of, wherever on it they are, they're all looking for the same thing. So just spending time with those people, real people, that's my one love, you know. And obviously that's Sonia as well, you know, that's in there as well. Spending time with her, which has been good because there's more, we're spending more time together of late, which is nice. Yeah, that's just what I love, you know. That's where I've ended up after all these other things, and on that road, you know, like it's all just ended up to this because I've found who I am, really. That's what I love, Mason. It's fine. That's what it is. It's just finding that and then spending time with other people that are looking for that or have found it or whatever. You know, real people, you know, that are feeling. That's what I love. And then working with people, doing what I'm doing now. That's the most special thing you can ever do.
I was going to ask you when you were talking about the grief guide, like, how does it make you feel when you help these? It just sounded like a rhetorical question because
it's just,
obviously
it's the best of the best, you know, and to know.
And me too. Like when I get done with a session, like it just makes the grief feel like it's doing something good versus just ruining everything.
It's bringing those people into that space, Mason. And when you can bring those people into that space that you hold, they feel something. And what that is that's that soul. They're feeling that, you know, and you can be cracking people. That's while you're doing that work, you're shining your light in there, you know, and it starts a process. It initiates a process, and to see that happening and to be part of that, dude.
Yeah.
You don't need drugs. You don't need alcohol. You don't need nothing.
Yeah, look at this
you know?
smile on your face.
It's just, it lights you up, you know, and it's wonderful, you know, and three things, there's two, and then look, I love my dogs, you know. I've got 4 dogs, you know, and had that really special experience with having the pups from the semen that I had frozen from my first dog. That was the first thing one of the great things that I did after the accident. He helped me, and I was able to do all that. And it's just and look, and I've been blessed to meet a beautiful man called Terry Suckling. And that's been really special. It's been really special for me. He's just like a father, you know, and it's that what he is with us, what Terry's brought to me, for me, with everything is that's what I can do with you, Mason. This is what happens here, yeah. When you move into this space, you start taking other people with you, you know, and that's we'd already connected, but it's I see it as that similar thing. You're in the process too, mate. You're in that same process that I had to go through, you know, and you're in that now. And I can love and guide you through that. And that's what I didn't have, Mason. I'm just doing now what I'd never had for whoever I come across. I can do that. And mate, to be able to do that, it is so fucking special. Special.
Yeah. Thank you. And I'm glad you didn't die that night.
Same here.
Yeah.
Although we don't die, but move on.
Sorry.
I didn't move on.
I'm glad you didn't move on that day.
Yeah.
Life's 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it. Okay, welcome back to the 1090 podcast. I'm still here with Craig Lithgow, still in the land down under. And I loved our conversation yesterday. And we haven't stopped talking since. We just keep on rolling with it. It's beautiful. We're just we were talking this morning, and I just told you, like, Craig, like, the number one goal I have today with you is I just want you to feel heard, and everything that you kind of want to say gets said. How can we do that? And we're like, well, duh, you've already put it into words right here in what you've created. So we're just going to read it.
Yeah.
I'm going to read it. So pray for me, because I just cry when I read, dude. We were talking about this earlier. Like, we just cry a lot. Like, we can't help it. We'll be talking in the kitchen, and then we're just both crying.
All good.
And then Blue walks in, and we're just like, yeah, it's beautiful, man.
What's wrong with everyone here?
Yeah. Blue's just these two tatted up dudes just crying. Oh, man. Okay. I'm going to let you explain the title of this at the end.
Yeah.
But it's called, help me if I say this wrong, but Samadhi.
Samadhi.
So that's the title of it. I'm going to read, Craig put this together. You wrote this, right? This is kind of some
just
thoughts that
fell out, actually.
Yeah. So this is kind of like a breakdown of your 90%, and kind of what you're sharing to other people when you're helping them with your guide work. Okay. Helping people process, heal, rise, and regain true power and potential. I love this quote on the cover. If you speak from your mind, you will speak to their mind. If you speak from your heart, you will speak to their heart. If you speak from your life, and your life is the story, you will change lives. Honesty, man. Like, and like starting the 1090 podcast, this has been the whole thing. Like, I'm speaking my mind from now on. Like, I'm not pretending to be something I'm not anymore. And so I'm just going to speak from my mind and speak from my heart, and I'm going to find the people who connect with it, like you. And if people who don't, they can carry on, no worries. But like, you get genuine relationships when you put off genuine energy, like when you're who you really are. And we'll talk about the programming later, it's in here, but like, where you get so caught up in just trying to fit in, or like, who should I be versus just being who you are.
Yeah.
And I don't think development is so much becoming, it's unbecoming. It's getting rid of all this shit, like the clay on the statue that we were talking about yesterday. And then if you speak from your life and your life is the story, you will change lives. So I'm a motivational speaker. I usually speak for 40, 45 minutes. I was asked to speak for 90 minutes for this one event. So Craig, I start trying to think of other shit. Like, what's another cool quote or story I could use? And so I was really thinking about, like, okay, like, why do people listen? Like, why do people tune into 1090 at all? And it's because of Courtney and Riggins and Frankie and Race and Ryder. It's the awful event of what happened. It's nothing unique to me or what I'm saying. It's the story. And so what I'm thinking about, how am I going to cover 90 minutes? And I'm like, well, what I do is I'm just going to talk longer about the story. So instead of like trying to say something new, I just told more stories about Courtney. Yeah. More stories about Frankie. More stories about all of them. And to feel, because that's it, man. Like, I'm not going to try to say shit to say shit. Like, I have a story. Yeah. And that's all it is, man. Yeah. That's all it is. And so, anyway, I love this first quote.
Just being real, Mason, being real.
Yeah. Can't you can just tell like that, can't you? If someone's being genuine or not, yeah. Like, you can just sniff it out. Yeah. My name is Craig, and I'm the fucking man. No, I'm just joking. It doesn't say that. But you are. My name is Craig. I grew up in a pretty regular family. Mom, dad, and 3 siblings. My parents are amazing people. My dad, especially when I was a kid, was my hero. My folks took us to all the sports activities and holidays, too. They were at everything we did. When I was 14 or 15 years old, my dad went away for work. He would come home most weekends, but this is also when he started drinking alcohol excessively and daily. All of his family on both sides were alcoholics, and although he was a beautiful man, the stress of 4 kids and life got to him. That hugely affected me as a kid. Unconsciously, my hero had gone. In today's world, there is so much intergenerational trauma, which doesn't discriminate based on class or economic status. It's nobody's fault, but we have to find it, feel it, and own it ourselves. Our family wasn't immune. The year he went away, my grades went from A's and B's to C's and D's, and a fail. I changed my group of friends and started drinking, stealing things, and getting into trouble with the police. He came back the next year because of me, but that taste of the wildlife stayed with me for quite some time. But I did get back to great grades in year 11 with Dad back home. Looking back on that now, my dad only left us for a year. But I look at that impact it had on the whole family unconsciously. Even so, my mom and dad were still together. My sister was also impacted. She never coped with her marriage breakup. Her 2 boys were taken off her as a result of her excessive drinking and taking pills. She died in her sleep at 40 years old on her own. All my siblings have used alcohol to get through their lives. So that then leads me to the impact on kids of parents splitting up. Over 50%. This is a situation for kids and adults everywhere. Then add in being brought up unemotionally and not having the tools to feel anything, or being able to recognize the power of egoless love. So when anything hard or painful happens to us, we just keep busy or shove it under the rug with all the other stuff we have neglected to feel or attend to. Or maybe we drink or take drugs to numb it, making it go away temporarily, or even just blame someone or something else. Boy, did I get really good at doing that. Until one day, something major happened to my partner, her 2 beautiful children, and myself. Coming back from a month away, up at the Murray River, Randall was driving. I told her to overtake some slower cars doing around 80 kilometers. As she sped up and went around them, we hit some gravel, and Randall lost control of the car. It slid into a culvert sideways, doing probably 100 to 110 kilometers, which then flipped the car and rolled it through a farm fence and into a paddock, where it came to a rest on its roof. I was conscious throughout the roll. I was trapped in my seatbelt, upside down. The roof had been crushed nearly down to the top of the doors. The car had caught fire. I could hear and feel it. What then happened in that car, me stuck in that belt, was insane. I took a massive deep breath and just thought, I'm done. I was definitely halfway with my 3 angels. I couldn't get out. Then Shondell screamed 3 times from nowhere. It jolted me out from where I'd been, I suppose, back into this world. And somehow I got out and had the tiniest of a gap at my door, and I just squeezed out. I had no wounds, no broken bones, no burns, nothing. The car basically exploded with a full tank of gas, and I had to watch that. This completely broke me. I blamed myself for telling Randall to overtake. 2 years of not knowing how to feel or deal with that had happened led...
It's all good, man.
2 years of not knowing how to feel or deal with that had happened, led me to that massive breakdown/meltdown. That dark night of the soul. I was on my own, feeling like a weak, broken, insignificant speck, but I couldn't go any lower. It was sink and die or swim. I decided to swim somehow. Stopping the drugs was first. Then I started exercising, then back to work. That was so hard, insanely hard. The mental health system on offer never worked for me. I was given all the names: PTSD, depression, anxiety, and psychosis. I was medicated heavily. That just basically keeps you in a low energy state. It keeps you in that weak fear state, and it definitely stops you feeling. Once I worked out that the guy sitting across from me had no idea how I felt or what I had experienced in my life, I got off the meds and stopped seeing him.
It's all good, mate. It's all good.
Then and only then did I start to rise and really rebuild myself. The daily terror I lived started to dissipate and melt away too. Eventually, on my own, after many years, I started to learn how to slow things down and internally. And that allowed for many things to come up that I'd missed while I was staying busy. Those issues started to come through and reveal themselves. But now I knew how to process them somewhat and feel them more. Sit in them and feel it fully to complete the experience and move through and try to heal from it. I want to read that again. That just hit me. But now I knew how to process them somewhat and feel it more. Sit in them and feel it fully to complete the experience. To complete the experience. I love that. Like, the car crash with my it's not over. Like, I have to complete it with how I'm going to experience and move through it and heal from it. Which is exactly what I just read that. That's not what I didn't say that. I read that. But I did say it like that.
Yeah. But then that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing right now.
Yeah, that's like 1090 to me. I just love that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. I also learned how to slow, then eradicate negative subconscious chatter. Oh, man. I have so much negative subconscious chatter.
Yeah.
And then that makes way for beautiful growth to come too. Empowerment also. I went on to build a fit-out company employing up to 10 people. I built my own house in there somewhere as well. It's a beautiful house too, by the way, Craig. And somehow, did I get messing up again? Okay.
Yeah, that one.
20 years on from accident/pain, what I've learned. It took years to move on from losing Randall and the kids. Firstly, you don't move on from them. You move forward with them. I love that. Thank you. They are part of you now. They are with you in your heart. Secondly, from what I've learned the hard way and now experience myself, no one goes anywhere. You just don't see them here anymore. You just don't see them here anymore. No birth, no death. We are energy. Only the body dies. When we start living from the truth of who we are, spiritual beings have a physical experience, learning how to feel and complete experiences. No matter how bad or hard they are, only then will energy rise and we can start to live and flow freely. Real internal joy will also come. Unfortunately, the generational programming and social conditioning we are exposed to once born keeps us in our 3 lowest energy centers. Our brain state, the same. We live in the smallest part of our brain, the reptilian brain, the fight or flight part of the brain, by design, again. I believe people are easy to control or manipulate, and the behaviors that are connected to these energy and brain states totally explain people's behavior in today's world. People exist in a highly stressed and disempowered energy state. They live as victims of their lives, not as creators of it. I know that because I too once lived like that. We really are so disconnected from source and misaligned energetically. This can lead us to refusing to feel and dying to heal. And we kind of have this graph here. Maybe we can screenshot that when we post the episode. On the other side of our pain and struggles, we have the right help. When we have the right help or competent guide, those who are living in the higher energy centers and brain state, then the process of cleaning ourselves of ourself can begin in their presence. There are many tools you can teach people to help with this cleaning/healing process that they may never have been shown. What I speak of is not something learned at university or course. You definitely get called to do this work. It too is a process. Usually it's initiated by gut-wrenching pain, extremely sacred, and has been going on for thousands of years. But it's simple and it works. As long as the person seeking help is open and genuine about bringing change, enabling the guide/conduit to connect energetically with the recipient, what will unfold can be truly amazing. We start to move old experiences/energy trapped in the body, and at the same time, the guide shines light, energy there too. This type of work starts to move things blocking us. We start to feel things that are lost in our programming and pain. You are opening people up. Light shines through. Energy in the body rises. Healing can take place, as I said, as long as the connection between the guide and seeker is made. It's not taking a tablet. That's like medication.
Yeah.
It's not easy sometimes. And generally, there will be some discomfort and pain. Yeah, there's going to be pain. But on the other side of this is feeling joy, even feeling lighter as we start to find our true self under the mud. The true self is not the ego, mind, or programmed conditioned self. Usually after this type of work, once you start opening people, synchronicity will flow also. You must remember that once we start to raise our energy and fire up our energy system, our energy field will increase. This is what I'm talking like. It's effort. It takes, you got to work at it. Yeah.
A lot.
Every day. Like the physical body, you can work out for months, a year. If you take a week off, you're going to start to feel it.
Yeah.
Emotionally, what do you think? Like if you take a day off or a week off, same thing. Like,
yeah.
You're out of shape with the amount of emotion you
the
can handle.
space that you're holding, Mason, you know, like that. Yeah.
All this can be measured scientifically nowadays, if that's your thing. Our energy field is definitely interactive. Once you change what you put out energetically, what comes back will change too. According to the natural law, it has to. We are giant antennas, energetic bodies. We are led to believe all our thoughts are stuck in our heads, which is not true. All our thoughts match strongly with the right emotion, are signals generated into the field. These signals can affect matter and therefore affect reality. The more work we do on ourselves internally, especially in the presence of the right guide initially, will enable us to feel more. Things around you and internally start to change. You start to leave the old self behind. You even start to awaken the gut brain. You start feeling and listening to it. It helps guide us once that inner system starts to fire. But cleaning and excavating ourselves of ourself makes room for these things to flow and awaken. We also learn to love our pain, or what makes us uncomfortable, not run from it. I love this right here. I mean, this is all good, but it's definitely not about feeling better. It's about getting better at feeling. We can use our pains or hard times as fuel. It can be the catalyst for beautiful change. There is something speaking to us when we feel pain or discomfort. It isn't random. There is no such thing as a chemical imbalance in the brain. New independent, uncorrupted studies prove it. No labels or names to treat. These are just words for feelings and fear. 1 in 5 people are medicated in the U.S. and here we are, well on our way to this, I believe. Referring to people in Australia.
Yeah.
Nearly all of us got brought up without being shown or knowing how to deal with or feel anything hard or painful. We got taught how to suppress it, stay busy, or self-medicate it, usually in an unemotional household. But that's no one's fault, just generational conditioning and programming. That keeps us separated from the whole, and it isn't who we truly are. We have to learn to take our own power back, rise, love ourselves, and have empathy and care for others. And it's not about being soft either, just lovingly empowered. Years ago, when I had driving issues coming up, something I hadn't spent enough time on, it was stopping me getting up to my memorial I have at my accident site. Even with everything I had learned, fate put me in the path of a very beautiful man who had worked with people and families, first responders, athletes, returned servicemen, etc., including at the CFA headquarters when our Black Saturday fires came, and beyond it, a 2-year contract looking after survivors and CFA members. His name is Terry Suckling. He's 75 years young. Most of that time he spent helping, healing, and guiding others. Terry was able to help me with what was blocking me. Two 1-hour sessions we did, over the phone, mind you, enabled me to drive straight up to my memorial. That's the power of this work. After a few more sessions, so much more came for me. I knew I had found someone extremely loving and special. Then Terry felt and noticed something special in me also. We became friends. Now I see him as a mentor. Deep down, though, he is like a father to me. He once said, the moment we feel someone or something loves and knows our pain more than we do ourselves, the process of healing and becoming whole begins. The solution for whatever the pain or problems blocking us are simple, to be honest, once we have the right help. The system designed to help us today makes it seem more complicated. A lot of it based on corrupted studies, control, disempowerment, and monetary gain. What I'm talking about goes back thousands of years. A lot of the old knowledge it's based upon was hidden from the masses by those in power running and controlling things. I believe a lot of today's mainstream solutions can make us more sick and weak. I've seen it with many people I've worked with and myself. Does this ring a bell? Create the problem, train people to offer a solution. Solution makes money. The people get sicker, more disempowered, and keep coming back. Why was the old knowledge hidden? Because it's everything. It empowers, heals, and it works. It's who we are. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything. I'm humbled now to work with all sorts of people, families, and problems. Whether it's multiple loss of family or friends, survivor of motor vehicle accidents, drug and alcoholic issues, marriage breakdowns, or anything traumatic and painful, all of it is terror, fear, pain, suffering, and loss. Even when we have that feeling that something is not quite right, but there are solutions for all of it. And from my experience, what's on the other side of these things can be truly amazing and empowering if we have the right person to love and guide us through it. The personal growth that comes from this is mind-blowing. We feel things changing around us, inside us as well. The Chinese meaning for the word crisis. First, there is danger, then comes opportunity. I also say we have two choices when something hard or painful comes up: discipline or regret. That's it. Discipline will bring gold. Regret will bring suffering. And then you have a quote right here. Here in this world, there will always be pain and hard times. That's living life. It's just about getting good at feeling and navigating it. The evolution of the soul. And then on the back, as a reference for the work I do, check out Mason Sawyer and his 1090 podcast, YouTube channel, and Instagram. Mason is from Utah in the U.S. and is an ex-college basketballer. Ex-college basketballer. He lost his wife, 2 kids, brother, and nephew in one car accident. One son survived. We found each other 2.5 years ago. Mason still has gut-wrenching pain from his loss and so much work to do on himself. But for years on from his loss, he is doing really well. Through the power of connection, love, and energy, anything can be achieved. Mason is also helping others while he heals. At the 4-year mark after my pain and loss, I was having trouble tying my shoelaces and was still completely lost, tying my shoelaces. Not knowing what I felt or why I felt like I did, and with the wrong help. When we feel that something just not right, what can be on the other side of that can be truly remarkable and empowering. With the right guide, no labels or names, all of it is just feelings needed to be felt and moved through. When people are ready and begin this type of work, they often explain that it feels like home. Funny, because they are. Craig, and then, man, your phone numbers are so weird here, man. But I'll just post.
That's okay.
I'll just post your email at the bottom too. Oh, Craig, and then, well, to end, can you just tell us the meaning of the label? I mean, it's
so samadhi's the last sort of stage in meditation, you know, where everything will just disappear and everything just melts away and you're in that space, that beautiful space. So that's my feeling about it anyway. That's a Sanskrit word, but it's I just see it as that last stage where when you're meditating and everything actually like falls away and there's nothing, you know, and you can go from that space, you can go other places as well, you know, and then that ties into what Terry, who you spoke of there, once he gifted me this book that he'd written. I think it was in the 80s or something. He wrote this book, and on the inside of the cover, he'd written on that just a beautiful message to Sonia and myself. And then he just said, there was this quote at the bottom, which, you know, I just never forget. It's always there. And that takes you places as well. It said, we really can travel anywhere and everywhere. And that, like just those few words, that ties into that ties into going into these other levels, dimensions, whatever you want to call it, you know, and we really can, you know, like when we come away from the crap and start finding the real self and that space that he's talking about, you can, and you can communicate through that. And it's all many years ago that was going on everywhere, you know. It wasn't a special thing. That was just how things go, you know. And it's only just probably the last 2,000 years where they've started systematically sort of shutting and hiding that old knowledge that brings insane empowerment when you start moving into that space. But when I say empowerment, that in this case, empowerment being this space that we can start learning more about ourselves and start healing and start, I just call it doing the work, like, and growing through all these, because everyone's got all these incomplete experiences, that was what you were reading out before about that. And that's just how I see it. They're just all these, everyone, as you and me know, and you are with these people all the time doing what you do. We've all got these incomplete experiences that haven't been completed and gone through, and healing, lessons learned, growth. Because that's as they come, if we're in a really good space and if we're being, say, brought up like that, as these things are coming, because that's life, it's not easy. We like to think that there's going to be this comfort if I just get this, or if I just get that, or if I get to this, like it's going to be like this, Well, it's not, because you just see people that have everything and they're still miserable, as in material-wise, because they're always got this, I'm going to have this external thing and this external.
And like, if they get that external thing that they wanted, they just want something else.
Yeah.
They're never satisfied.
Yeah.
How you feel? How you doing?
Yeah, okay, yeah. I was just helping you through that, and I'm okay, but I'm glad that you actually read this out, because this isn't my thing, and so
I think
it's nice to do it like that.
I think so too. I absolutely loved our conversation yesterday, but I think there was both frustration on both our ends of, did we say it right? Was it heard right? And my number one goal when I interview someone is I just want them to feel heard. That's it. I don't know if we did that yesterday, and I think today we did that. Like, I just feel good about it. I feel like you were able to express yourself how you wanted to.
Yeah, and so it's, for me, it's not about me. It's about expressing what I found and what I found worked and what I found that's taken me into this space and of empowerment and taken me out of where I was, and how I'd been sort of brought up and whatever. It's about conveying that to the people that listen to you. It wasn't about me.
Well, I think
it was about that.
I think it was about this whole quote at the top. I think it was about, if you speak from your life and your life is the story, you will change lives. And I felt like what you written put together, we were able to do that. We were able to tell your story in an appropriate way. So I think what you put together right there is beautiful, Craig, and I appreciate it so much. And we hate the word hope or faith or whatever, but like, yeah, you give me a lot of faith and hope of this can be done. Because I still go through a lot of days where, like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if it's fair. I don't know some days I'm so mad. Like, I don't think it's fair that I have to still be here.
Yeah.
Like, why can't I just go? And obviously that part of me doesn't understand a lot of other things, especially the blue part and everything. But I think the whole point is every part and every emotion needs to be shared and worked through. And that's part of what you talked about here in this pamphlet, is it's all part of that process. Is every emotion you feel is part of it. The angry emotion, the emotion to want to help people, all of it. And it's not about running from any of them. It's about going towards each of them and letting them be heard. So yeah, I feel better about today. And the energy in the room right now, for me anyway, even though that was heavy and dark, is peace right now. And I feel comfortable right now. So I just wanted to ask you how you were doing, and no one really asked you that, like you said yesterday. So I wanted to ask you again today.
Yeah, so just to hear that from that, because I'm not very good at doing this type of thing, because this isn't my thing. It was nice to have you read that out, but then also for me to feel you read that out and just be here and I'm with you as you're reading that out.
Yeah, that was a special moment.
Yeah, and I'm just, like always, I get to be what I didn't have, Mason, you know what I mean? And that's an honour for me to be in your life and be able to be that, you know, be that for you, what I just didn't have, you know, like I didn't have that, you know.
And it's my hope, or, you know, I thinking that I can be that for someone else. So like the trickle down effect that you're gonna have, you know, I don't think you're gonna ever really know the impact you have.
And that is how it works. Not just, that's how it works. You know, like that's, you're coming with me. You've been with me for a while, and you're coming with me. I put you under my wing a while back now, and that's how this thing works. You know, brought you into my field, brought you into my everything. You know, and then for me, I've got so much from this relationship that we have. Finding someone that's, there's people that I work with that have had some horrendous things happen in their life and that, but there's just something here. The way that we met, your crash was just outside Fillmore, mine was just outside Elmore. The towns look the same. There's all these things, and that's just something that when you start coming down this path, if you look at it like a fork in the road, that's the old conditioned, there you go, programmed, whatever you want to call it, path, you know, and then we get to this fork in the road where there's that something else. There's got to be something else, and we can find this one's a big road that's just open, 5 lanes, nothing in your way. Off you go, nice and cozy and comfy. And this one's going up a mountain, down a mountain, through a creek. Got to cut trees down, but that is where we find everything that we, you know, we are.
I have the story of Hercules tattooed on my chest and arms, and that's the same thing. Like he picked the hard road, not the easy one. Yeah, I love that metaphor. Craig, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, well, it was always about, just for me, you know, to just try and convey to people, and especially the people that you have on your show. I mean, we do a bit of work on our thing, you know, like it's just constant, to the point of I can't sleep when you're here because you're in the room next to me, and I just wake up in the middle of the night and
want to go talk it.
Well, I'm just feeling you, Mason, you know, everything. And so I start doing my work, you know, at 2 a.m, I'm doing my work, mate, in the next room, you know.
Yeah. You're a crazy motherfucker, man.
Yeah. Some would say. Some would say.
Like I have this numb and run guy that, like, we need a break, Mace. Like the voices in the head and the pain and the guilt. Like let's smoke some weed, dude. Like this is crazy. And for you to just, you're always sitting in it. You're always sitting in it. I didn't like. It's you're on a different level.
But that's the work, Mason. That's the work. It's a bit of time, but it's a lot of work, you know.
Well, I think. Well, I know. Sitting in the pain is very lonely, and so I know you're lonely, and that's what I was trying to say yesterday with the Matrix thing. Is like, it's lonely, and so I hope you're doing okay.
It's not lonely for me in that space.
Why not?
So it's when you start moving into the, you know, if you want to, so many ways to say it, true self, soul, well, who we really are. You don't need anything, Mason, to entertain you, you know, like, because of that feeling of, you know, the feeling. when we're in that place, like when we talk, you know, that feeling when we first met, you had that feeling, and you actually mentioned what I mentioned in there, because a lot of people say that when they feel that feeling that comes through connection, through someone in that higher space, and it's all just vibration, frequency, energy, all that, you know, and it's work to stay in it. But when you feel that, there's this, because people just go, and I can feel that when you're working with someone, you feel that go like that. And that's the same with you, you know, like when we rolled up, there was that feeling, but you just weren't quite sure what it was. But you actually said to me, you go, man, it's just that. What was that when you rolled up, you know? Like, this is the best American I can do, but...
Cracking you up.
But it was, and you said, you know, you go, dude, it just felt like home, yeah? Like it felt like home. And there's a lot of people actually say that.
I felt not alone. I felt not alone. I felt like this guy, we don't have to say one word to each other, but he's been through something so similar to me that there's just this automatic connection for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is just that it's love, you know, like, and for some people I go, oh, love, you know, like especially blokes, obviously, will go love. And, you know, but it's an action, it's a feel and it's energy, but, you know, so it's not just, I love you out the mouth.
Yeah.
This is, we're talking deep,
Yeah.
you know, like that's that. When you move into that space, all these other things which you can take people into that space doing the work, all these other things melt away. So like fear, all these things that are, you know, the pain as just talking it through, it'll melt away. And, you know, and you connect, fear can't exist in that space. It actually can't exist, you know. So when you see people that are, you know, the system calls it anxiety and whatever else they call it, but it's a feeling, you know, and it's just given a name and it's treated with all these things, but you can actually, it's just way more simple than how the system makes it out to be, you know, like it's all energy. Everything's energy, you know, and that's what that is when you're working with someone and they'll feel that, and you take them into that space, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing I just wanted to say before we end it is one of my favorite things about our relationship is we're so far away. Like, I don't know if we could be any further. And I think if we went further, you'd start coming back home type of thing.
Yeah.
And I truly believe in showing up. And I hope that's my expression of how much I love you.
I get it.
And appreciate you. Is I'm not great at texting. I'm if you're not with me in the room, I just, you know, I'm not a you know. But yeah, I believe in showing up because it's hard to know what to say and how to say it, and you might offend someone because, you know, they're not there yet in that area or space or whatever. But I think you show up for the people that you love and respect, and so I hope me coming here shows that, and you allowing me, Sammy and Blue, to stay in your home, and the way our friendship and the way you show up for me matches that. So I loved our conversation, but it's also just the showing up too that I love, and I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep coming out here every 2 years.
Yeah.
Until one of us is dead. So there you go.
Got a while to go, buddy.
All right. Well, that sucks.
There's gonna be a few it's gonna be a few years, but
I love it. Anything else? We're down here. Anything else you want to say? I'm not coming back for 2 years, Craig.
Yeah, okay, hang on. Yeah.
We good?
Nah, look, it's thanks for reading that, because we were sort of coming here to try and convey what I'm about, and I just want to convey to people that are in that, you know, that are hurting, that you have, and that there is we've got everything we need already, and it's not about learning how to, you know, we're not going somewhere with books and learning how to, You know, it's actually just fine. We've got everything in that we need, and it's just about actually finding that or having a guide that can shine light on that as we work through what's hurting us, you know, and what's given us pain. And that's this process. It's been around for thousands of years, Mason. It's been going on. Like what's going on now has only been on for, 120 years, whatever, that system that's out there attending to things, you know. And there's some, don't get me wrong, there's some wonderful, wonderful people out there doing wonderful things, right? This is my take on it, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to share the listen.
And so that's, just to let people know that I'm about being empowered and everything that happens around us and what I'm doing, even with what I'm going through at the moment, like there's all this stuff that's happened just around me that's I've ended up getting knocked around a bit, and so I've actually stopped working for a little bit, so I can just look after myself. But everything I'm doing is going in. I'm not going out anywhere looking for, it's all just more work and going in, and rest. So that's, people need to know that we've already got all of these things within, and there's this internal system that no one really knows much about, that's inside, that we awaken as we start to do this energy work. You start to awaken these things, and all of a sudden you start feeling these things that you've never felt before. But then also, as you're feeling like that, doing that work to actually move all these incomplete experiences that people have, because they'll come for something. There'll be this something that they come, this happened, and I'm come for this. But as we start doing the work, these other things start, and then you start putting this, it's like putting a puzzle together, there's no plan. You're just sitting there like we are now, and I'm feeling you, you're feeling us, you know what I mean? Like this is happening, and there's that connection that's happening. That's the work, and it's all, everything's in here, and you start to awaken these things inside, and we just start feeling, and it's all about getting better at feeling so we can feel these things. So like with yourself, I sometimes have to, I'm checking myself all the time because I'm talking about these things, but like with yourself, you're still in the midst of this really hard spot, like it's a really painful spot that you're in at the moment. And I'm always really aware of, because I'll say, we just do this, this and this, and you'll be right. And it's what it is, what I'm saying is it's all about getting you in a better space in all sorts of ways, just so you can feel what you're feeling and going through every day better. And which then brings more healing for you to feel and heal better than than you might have been feeling.
It's
Mason,
definitely not about feeling better. It's about getting better at feeling.
Yeah, and it's always just all about being in a better space to actually go through what we have to go through. And then, I mean, we've mentioned, we don't have to go into it, but you've mentioned a couple of these things that are happening for you when you're sitting with people. That's what's going on. There's these little glimpses, which is how this works. It's the same as with meditation, when you take someone through to meditate and then they do start working themselves. There's this, it's like it's breaking down the mud starting to break down. When you first start, there's all these, you're sitting there trying to be quiet, and there's all this, like you're on a highway coming through, because you're actually being quiet, and we don't be quiet much. We don't sit quietly much, and that's who we actually are. Meditation is who
listening
we are. Well, it's what
to yourself, but
it's who we are.
Yeah.
Meditation is what the soul is.
Yeah.
So if you understand what meditation is, it's actually, that is what the soul is. We are having a human experience here as an energy being. So hue means light. Don't know, it's in whatever it's in, but it means light. I know it means light. And so we're light men. That's what we are. Having a human like this, the physical, So that's when you start coming from that angle. Doesn't mean you're way out hippie, or you know what I mean? Like you can still live okay in this world, but yeah, things do change, as you know.
Yeah.
And people will leave because yeah, they're not feeling that, you know, and sometimes people feel like really uncomfortable around that. Or if we were to start talking like this, let's just put us somewhere, you know, where regular stuff's going on. Yeah, like people are going to move away. Most people, you know, but
they don't want to sit in it with you.
Yeah,
It's not for everyone.
They're not ready. They're not ready. So they haven't been cracked, or just they're not ready. Everyone has their time, you know. But that's why we're here is, you know, to heal. Like that's why we come here, to evolve and heal. That's it. That's why we're here. And you and me got a rough ride, you know. We talked about it before, about whether you take a ticket to do that. Not too sure, but I've got some thoughts on it.
Yeah.
And feelings, you know, but you got to complete the mission. You have to complete the experience.
To finish the experience. Yeah, I love that part.
You have to complete it, you know, and then while you're completing your experience and everything you're going through, and which I think's just so beautiful, man. And I love being around it. Like with Blue, you know, like that kid, what he went through. That's what he's gone through, but then to he lost everyone, but he's now got this special guy who's now also found a really special lady to just hold him and take him through, you know, like, and that's what you guys are doing so well. Like he could not get more, you know, from anyone, you know, like he's just doing everything for him, you know what I mean? And that kid, he's a special, just like yourself and Sammy, like he's a special kid, you know, with what he's gone through. Because I know what happens, you know what happens when you go through this, the other side of this. I always say it's insane. If you've got doing the right things and have the right help, what comes from this getting terrorized on the other side of that? There's so much growth. There's so much, just so many good things that come from this when you actually understand what you're going through. If you don't understand it and you haven't got the right help, it's just suffering. That's what it is. And it's just like, how am I going to get out of this? That's all you're feeling, yeah? Like it's just this, am I ever going to be all right? But when you got that right person and doing the right work, you can just you help take that person out of that, you know, and you bring it in so they then start attending to themselves, because we can heal ourselves with everything. We're supposed to be able to, we can do that. We've got the power to do that, you know, but sometimes you just need a hand, and sometimes you might need a guide, and that just helps shine that light where it needs to be shone, you know, and there's work to be done, you know. But yeah, you blow me away, Mason, what you got through, because I know how it feels. You've said it a couple of times about how you weren't in the accident, you know, and so you say to me, I don't know how you've done that, like actually being in the accident. Well, then I just go, you were in the accident, dude. When you got told what had happened, you were in the accident. You died.
Yeah, I did.
And then you've died 1,000 times after that, and 1,000 more. And that's what happens from something when that shock, when the soul goes through and experiences what you experienced. Don't worry about being in the car, Masons. It's the same thing. And that's the same for us, you know, like that was, it was just so terrifying. And it's such a different story with you and me, totally different with our lives before it and then around what's happened and whatever. But I've always say that what's the same is the terror that we feel, because I was in that terror space for a good 4 or 5 years, and it wasn't until I came away from how I was trying to cope with it that started to melt away. But I lived that terror every day on the building site. Every day I went anywhere, it was with me, you know, and it was just about trying to keep it down and suppress it and whatever, you know. So, and that's, I suppose not too many people feel that's an okay thing too. But, what's on the other side of that, Mason? It's insane. And that's why I'm here for you, you know. Just doing what I'm doing for you, you know. That's it. That's it, dude. And
Uh,
you're coming too, you know, like there's yeah.
yeah, I have nothing but gratitude for you. And you know, there's just not a lot of people that have lost partner and kids, man. And so being with someone that relates to it and knows how you feel and is able to listen to it and understands that, yeah, you die every day and it's going to hurt, but leaning into the pain, there's an other side. And I've been finding that other side, like with Blue and Sammy. And you can't run from the terror. You got to go right into it. Like the whole buffalo thing. Yeah. And I think that's, I despite all the terrible parts of it, like just wanting to die and feel awful, I'm so happy too. Like I'm so happy. I think I was telling you this actually maybe a couple of days ago at your house, but I just wish I could allow myself to be as happy as I should be with how great my life is, but still have to work through so much pain, and I just simply miss him so much. But when I'm with you, I do feel at home. I feel like I'm heard, and I don't know if normal is the right word, but I just feel heard and seen with you. So thank you. And life's 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it.